This is Dead Serious, a show about short horror stories worthy of discussion. I'm Dead Pallid, and I'm made of model magic. Today we're taking a look at Stolen Laptop. The following was pieced together from a thread on 4chan's paranormal board from May 8th to 10th, 2013. So this is a more recent story. Let's get right into it. Hey X, I need some advice. I know this isn't technically paranormal, but it's creepy as fuck, and I'm not sure what to do. I go to college in the northeastern United States, and a few weeks ago, during a party I was at, I stole a laptop and iPod. I don't need to hear about how bad a person I am for stealing. Yeah, I know that it's not good to, and that's not going to help me. I have occasionally stolen technology in the past to sell at pawnshops and stuff. I'm pretty good with computers, so I can usually circumvent their passwords and stuff and sell them as if they were my own. Anyway, the computer I stole had some fucked up shit on it. Alright, so I really like this general concept, and I think we get a decent idea of the college-age person that we're dealing with here. Little unscrupulous, to say the least, because they're stealing shit, but anytime that there is some sort of ethical dilemma that a person is having, where they find, where they're doing something bad and then they see something worse, that is something I like. I like the story, I'm a necrophiliac, but that's not the issue because it's such a ridiculous title, and the story is setting up with something similar of, I am a thief, but there's some fucked up shit out there. I'm interested to see what kind of fucked up shit they could be getting into. Also, they're downplaying the fact that this is possibly paranormal by saying that it isn't paranormal. They're like, no, it's not paranormal, and that makes me think it might actually be paranormal. Alright. Like some stuff that makes me think I stole from an actual violent and crazy person. I don't want to be too specific in case they or someone they know is on here. I'm pretty nervous about this whole thing. But my question is, does anyone know how to break and do a TrueCrypt file? Is it even possible? There is one on here, and I'm not even sure if I want to know what's on there after the crazy stuff I found that wasn't even password protected. If you don't know, as I didn't before reading this just now, TrueCrypt is a discontinued source-available freeware utility used for on-the-fly encryption. It can create a virtually encrypted disk within a file, or encrypt a partition or a whole storage device, pre-boot authentication. Alright, so we got some locked up shit in there on this laptop, and from all indications, it's probably worse than all of the other shit on here, but we don't know what the other shit is, so let's get into the story some more. I usually go through the computer first before I delete everything. It's kind of exciting for me. It's like spying on someone's life. I can see all their pictures and check through their browser history. Sometimes there are even saved passwords on their computer for their Facebook and stuff, so I can go check through all that. I never fuck with their Facebook or anything. I just scope out their life. It's pretty exciting, though, to kind of just rummage through a person's life. But the videos I found on this computer, I have never seen anything like that before, even on crazy places like Motherless or Deep Web. Usually people call it the Deep Web, right? Like, I'm not the only one who calls it the Deep Web. Am I an old person calling it, you gotta be careful when you go on the Deep Webs? But anyway, they are obviously real, though. I kind of feel like I ought to go to the police, but I don't know how to explain how I came to be in possession of the computer. And I definitely don't want this guy knowing I stole his computer and then turned him into the police. Alright, so all of this is just kind of setting up for what's going on. But we still have no idea exactly what's going on this computer. I can't really even make an anonymous tip because the house I was at was a friend of a friend. Obviously, I don't steal from people I know well, a ways away from campus, and I don't remember exactly where it was. And the computer doesn't have a name, like how computers usually have recovery registration info and account names and stuff. Yeah, I guess there's no chance of him seeing it here or tracing it back to me. And he obviously knows someone stole his computer, but there's a bunch of people. There were a bunch of people there that night, but I'm definitely not going to put up the videos up or talking about the videos in specifics. I just want to know if there is any way I can see the encrypted files. Okay, so hopefully he's lying and the details of the story will come out. That's kind of a cop-out. Like, I'm not going to put up the videos. I guess it's a bit sensible because he's not a devious person, at least not in that way. But I do need some sort of specifics to know whether this is worth biting, you know? Pressing 1. Yeah, lots of people were there, but the room was like in the basement under the stairs. People were down in the basement smoking weed at one point, but it was pretty much empty after that. So later on, when we were about to go, I went down there to go pee and just went into his room real quick and threw the laptop and iPod into my backpack, and then left pretty soon after. Pretty normal room, although he did have a big Bowie knife sitting on his windowsill. Oh, what a badass this kid is. Yeah, I guess. The computer had all the normal 4chan stuff. Lots of gore and porn. No reaction pictures or GIFs, though I noticed. Fairly normal computer history. I mean, still had some gory stuff, but that's pretty normal these days. Ad Eraser and CC Clean and TrueCrypt and stuff. But again, that's pretty normal for anyone who explores the internet a lot and would rather be careful. I know, but then I found some really funked up videos. There are things like, there are like 3 self-injury, I think, videos, and one where where he kills a dog. None of these things were password protected. He has a fucking TrueCrypt, and he didn't even bother to put these in there. What makes me really nervous? That's what makes me really nervous. Just what the fuck did he bother to encrypt? No, you don't ever see his face in any of these videos. No, the dog is like drugged or something because it just sort of lying there and tries to get up a few times. Then he goes and puts his metal thing between its teeth so it can't close its mouth and cuts out its tongue. Ugh. While he's doing this, the dog starts to roll around and squeal, so he puts the camera down while he holds the dog down and cuts out its tongue. It's like I always say, if you want a cheap pop and a cheap creep out, kill a dog. And if you want another cheap one, do some gore stuff. And this is combining those two things, but cheap isn't always bad. Then he picks up the camera again and holds down its legs with his foot while he chomps off its feet with a machete. The dog starts like its puking scream thing after 3 of its feet are gone. He finally flips over on its back and guts it. He puts down the camera. He puts the camera down during this part too, then picks it up and watches the dog die. It's disgusting. I literally had to throw up after watching it. Why the fuck did you watch it? For real. And then you already said that you weren't going to post what the details were. This is confusing. It's like a golden retriever looking thing. It's 12.5 minutes long, and yeah, the guy is pretty built. And the other one is a guy putting cigarettes out on his inner thigh, nailing his backpack to a piece of wood, like a table or something, and then sewing his thighs up. He is stabbing his big needle into one of the sides of his skin, and then pulls his skin tight to make a crisscrossing pouch. Again, I don't know what to say too much. I guess I can visualize that pretty well, so yeah, not too much to say there. All 3 look like they're hurt like hell. And one where he nails down his balls, he sounds like he's having a fucking orgasm. The whole time he's pounding the nail and he's just moaning. Then he pulls back his balls and stretches them out on the nail before he yanks out the nail. In the other 2, you can only kind of hear him hissing. Pretty sure the guy in all these videos is the same. Well, it sounds like I probably can't get into the encrypted videos myself. I'm just going to have to wipe what I can from his computer, take it apart, and throw it away. Normally I would sell it, but this guy is way too fucked up to play around with. I wouldn't want it somehow traced back to me. I probably don't want to know what's on the other videos anyway. I just kind of feel like I have to know now that I have already seen all this other shit. Why did you watch it? Either way, this guy is really nuts and should probably be in a mental institution or something, but it's still walking around. Just walking around. Anyway, I'm having trouble articulating my thoughts here. Honestly, this whole thing has really fucked me up. I was so physically sick and paranoid the first night I saw them. I have been freaking out that this guy was going to come after me or something, and it's just fucked in general. That people like this exist, and not just in creepy backwoods, but in liberal, northwestern United States. I feel like I'm always going to be less able to trust people after this. I wish I had never stolen the computer and seen this messed up shit. You're probably going to call me a pussy, but seeing something like that on the internet, or something on the internet that you know lots of other people have seen, that's probably fake anyways, is different than seeing really crazy graphic shit that you can't tell anyone about, and knowing someone crazy knows now hates you and would probably kill you if they found out. I really think that's what's in the TrueCrypt videos. What else would this guy bother to encrypt? I mean, I kind of like this, that we're using the X board on 4chan as a confessional that, hey, I have this thing and I need to get off my chest, and it's really bothering me that I can't tell anyone else, because people that I would tell other people, and then that would get back to this person who's doing this fucked up shit. That, I think, is a very successful idea. I still will open the encrypted videos if I can, but it will probably be a few days before I wipe and toss the computer. If anyone can help me open them, I will be monitoring /X and /B closely for the next couple of days. Just make a thread related to this, and I will see it. I'm assuming nobody ever got back to this anonymous 4chaner, and that's dissatisfying of an ending. But maybe that's the intention, to be intentionally dissatisfying. We don't know what's going to happen to him, whether he died and the person found out about him, whether he opened up the files and found something that drove him insane or prevented him from posting. I definitely like the interactive aspect of it, even though I kind of don't get that here since this is just a collection of comments. But scrolling down, we have this comment on February 5th by Darlaminier. This is literal torture porn. Yeah, it's a little bit of torture porn. I think that's kind of the intention. But I don't know. I don't know how in-depth this torture porn is. If it's torture porn, it's rather abrupt and doesn't have, it's like they humped for 10 mins, then came, and then lived happily ever after. It doesn't go in depth with the torture as much as it could. It just does it a few times. I'm not big on torture porn, but I would imagine if someone was, this would be a little lackluster. Scrolling through the comments, it seems like a lot of people are interested in what happened next. I can't help but think that maybe that was its intention, but I can't also help but thinking maybe the author of this just didn't have any kind of satisfying conclusion in mind, and maybe they wanted it to have one, but just couldn't write one, and then found this. It's a cross between a cop-out, but it's a cop-out that I think kind of functions as intended. So I'm not sure how to feel about it, honestly. Let me know what you think in the comments, but it's time to get on to our sponsor of the day, which is the Krusty Krab Pizza. Krusty Krab Pizza is the pizza for you and me.